Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks' best country, 105.1 The Bull.
You're listening to The Real Deal Conversations, a podcast designed to encourage, inspire, and equip you by sharing real stories and meaningful conversations that bring real life to the surface. I'm your host, Megan Deal. Let's dive in. This episode is brought to you by Ozark Veterinary Clinic. I am with Stan Tatkin, who is a doctor of psychology, marriage and family therapist, clinician, researcher, teacher, and developer of a psychobiological approach to couple therapy, which is PACT, with the PACT Institute. And he has a clinical practice in Calabasas, California. And with his wife, Tracy Tatkin, they co-founded the PACT Institute for the purpose of training other mental health professionals worldwide, along with a growing PACT faculty of instructors to use this method in their clinical practice. And together, Dr. Stan and Tracy Tatkin lead workshops for couples. He is the author of 12 books, and today we are going to talk about one of them, Wired for Love, how understanding your partner's brain and attachment style can help you defuse conflict and build a secure relationship. Stan, thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I am thrilled. And what the questions I'm going to ask you today, I thought it was very interesting because I had sent these a long list of questions that I wanted to ask to some friends of mine, about 10 people. And I said, let me know, as someone who's married, let me know what questions you would want to get the answers to. And what I thought was interesting was almost across the board, everybody chose almost the same questions.
Wow.
And I thought that was really interesting because that means that there are certain things that quite a few people are going through.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so those are the questions that I chose. But before we get into it, in your book, you talk about secure functioning relationships and insecure functioning relationships.
Yes.
And I think in order to kind of understand a lot of things, we need to understand those two things first.
Yeah.
So can you kind of break down what is insecure and secure functioning?
So I'm glad you're asking. A lot of people hear secure and they think of attachment theory. And though I'm very attachment theory based, this is not that. This is secure functioning is behavior, is how we contract socially with others. And so it's about fairness, justice, mutual sensitivity, teamwork, collaboration, cooperation. Anything other than that is not considered secure functioning, whether it's in, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship. But here I'm focusing primarily on the romantic primary, adult primary attachment relationship, right? Okay. And so if people are insecurely attached, how are they going to move towards secure attachment if they are making each other worse, which is natural? We will automatically make each other worse if we don't know better because we're reacting to the other person's behavior. If they're afraid, in particular, of abandonment or withdrawal, or they're afraid of engulfment and intrusion, those people are naturally going to defend themselves in a way that looks and appears threatening to the other person, therefore compelling them to do what they've always done. And that's why, it's very hard for people to break out of this, because the way that they're protecting themselves sort of ensures that the environment interacts in the same way they have always anticipated, which is threat. Mm-hmm. So secure functioning is the only way, if people want to move towards security without going to therapy, is to provide each other, design the relationship with a series of social contracts that protect them from each other, so that the relationship is moving towards absolute safety and security for them both
Mhm.
by design.
Yes.
This then frees up the resources that are necessary for development to move forward, which are heretofore being used because of constant feeling of interpersonal stress and threat.
And would you say so that, insecure and secure is really formed from life?
Well, are you talking about attachment now, or the what I'm referring to functioning?
So just like when you had mentioned, somebody not wanting their space invaded, or somebody being, is that because of just what life has taught them,
Yes.
childhood. And
Yes.
so is it safe to say understanding, understanding where that came from is kind of a start in pulling that
Yes.
thread to
Right.
healing?
Right. I mean, we know this already through pop psychology, but this isn't pop psychology. This is, through studying infants, which I
Mm-hmm.
did
Mm-hmm.
for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You start to see it. Nature, we know, repeats itself. It's not personal, it just does in all areas of biology. And so we know what we experienced, what we saw, what we heard with the minds that we have. And that's about as fancy as we get. And so our training, so to speak, starts in infancy. And those of us who have seen this again and again see it very plainly. It's just infants adapting to the environment they are born into, right? We don't get to choose how we're going to be raised. We don't get to choose whether our parents have attachment values that they implement. And so we're going to adapt to what the rules of the road are. And that's just nature. It's not personal. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. We don't know that. We don't know that we are, in fact, a product not only of our environment growing up, our relational interactions, which are in the thousands and millions,
Mm-hmm.
and our genetics and our own, family history. All of that is determining us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're basically marching to the drummer of others, right? We're not really self-possessed. We're not really living the lives we want. We're living somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And that's normal. And that is the great majority of the world. But those of us who want to improve our lot and want to have a better relationship with our partners and our children,
Mm-hmm.
um, do so because we don't like something
Yeah.
about the way we are operating.
Yeah.
Or we keep losing relationships, and that makes us become aware. So basically, meaning really change only if we're suffering.
Mm-hmm.
The big changes nobody wants to make. It's too much, too energy expending, and who has the time for it? And,
Yeah.
right. And so
And
most
the
of us are
things,
just going to do what we know.
yeah, and the things we have to face
Yes.
when making those big changes. And it's something that is said often, not just with marriage, but behavior in general. Well, this is how I am.
Yeah.
And just because it's how you are doesn't mean you have to be. And and I think that's why this book is so great for marriage, is
Yes.
to understand just because that was your, secure attachment, insecure, just because you were raised that way doesn't mean we have to continue that way.
Well,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Case in point,
yeah.
um, this is never about changing who either of you are.
Mhm.
Just as if you were becoming, you were a dancer and you wanted to join a dance troupe, with all of them having the same purpose, mission, and goal, right? You're not changing who you are, but you may have to change how you do business with people.
Mhm.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The problem isn't who people are, it's how they're interacting in real time when under stress that makes them unfriendly and threatening. And that's
Yeah.
across the board with everyone on the planet. We are
Yeah.
difficult animals, and we're particularly difficult when under stress. When we're
Yeah.
happy, we're fine, no complaints.
Yeah.
It's when we're not happy that you got to watch out for.
Yeah. So I kind of want to get into some of these things that people face in marriage and to hear what you have to say. And again, everyone, we cannot hit on everything today. So
I'd love to. It's my favorite topic.
I would love to as well. And there's just so much that we could pull from you. So I really would highly encourage you. I'm going to say this just before we get into it, to go buy Wired for Love. It's the second edition. You have a second edition
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
Yes. So
It's a little
Wired.
smarter than the first one.
Yes. So the second edition, and you can really deep dive into what Stan has to say. Right now, we're just going to try and cover some things to help you guys just in the now. So, okay. A lot of couples, and this is common, a lot of couples say that they feel like they're on opposite sides instead of the same team. And you talk about couples needing to function as an alliance.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like in real life? How, when they feel like they're on opposite sides, how can they function as an alliance?
Opposite sides can only mean two things.
Mhm.
One is that what they want in a relationship, in the big ticket areas that are important, are opposed. And that's the meaning of true incompatibility. What you want and what I want are two different things, and they're incompatible. And here's what I mean. You want children, I never want children. Now, that should be a deal breaker. And yet, because of our attachment biology, once we feel attached to somebody, it's very hard to stop. When we're faced with the abyss that is the end of our relationship with that realization, you want kids, I never want kids, we're more apt to go, let's buy a house. We blow past it. And that becomes, a problem downstream. So, or you want monogamy, which you have every right to want. I want polyamory. I have a right to want that. No good, bad, right, or wrong, but we can't do business because that won't work, right? That's too big to be able to work together as a team. So, right? That's legitimate.
Yeah.
That is a legitimate, fair reason for not being together, yet it's very hard for people to lose the relationship, even though that's in their best interest at that time, right? Now, the other thing is that these people are not thinking straight. They don't see the big picture, that the world is a dangerous place filled with indifference and opportunism. And when people are afraid, you'll find this out, right? Everyone goes to what they need to go to, and it's probably not you. Why do we pair bond? In the animal world, do we group? Why are we herd animals? Because we don't survive well alone. And the world is dangerous. Therefore, it's not a luxury to be a team as a partnership, right? People in Ukraine know this. People in Gaza know this. We don't, because we are lulled into thinking we're safe. We're not. So by agreement, you and I can absolutely guarantee each other's ongoing safety and security at all times and happiness in the relationship by agreement. And that agreement, of course, has to be defined. We can do that. Nobody else in the world will. And if we can, why wouldn't we? Considering the alternative. And so I think that's one. People are not in reality, me included, because of certain natural forces that force us out of that, such as denial, energy conservation, where we do the least amount necessary. That helps us get through day to day, but it keeps us blind and deaf to real life. And so that's one. Two, people do not understand that a love relationship, if it is to continue and be in the long run, be happy, it has to be designed by the two architects that are the partners. Relationship does not exist in real world life, right? In the physical world. It's an invention. We make it up. Yet love relationship partners don't do this and expect it to go well. They don't plan for their devils. They only plan for their angels. But if we understand the human primate as it stands and always has since our beginnings on the earth, we are unreliable beasts. We are selfish and self-centered, opportunistic, moody, fickle. We're xenophobic. And we don't like to think about that. And we're easily influenced by groups. What could go wrong? Anything and everything. And yet people do not set up how they're going to protect each other from each other. And then they do damage naturally. No other union on the planet that is voluntary and that is of people with equal stature would ever do that. You wouldn't start a rock and roll band as an adult and do that. You wouldn't be on an Olympic team. No way. You get kicked off if you interfere with their goal and the mission. You can't do that in the military. You get booted out or worse. You can't do that with your police car partners because you have to survive. And that's the all-important common purpose. That brings different people together.
Yes. And whenever you're talking about, they will, instead of acknowledging the fact that one wants kids, one doesn't, they'll just go buy a house and bypass the issue.
And just kick the can down the road, which is not.
Yeah. And so, part of what you said, we don't want to be alone. And so I wonder if, what would you say to somebody who is in that state of, okay, I don't want to be alone. This isn't working. I know it's not going to work. I know we're just putting off the inevitable, but the fear of the anticipation of being alone, I'm so used to this. I'm so comfortable. What would you say to them would be a first step in being okay with the thought of, okay, I need to step away for the betterment of my future? Scary. What would you say to them as a first step to that?
First, let me explain. Nobody should be alone. We know now through years of a longitudinal study, the longest running study in history, the Harvard study, that people who are alone will die sooner. They'll get sicker earlier, both physically and mentally, and they will not be happy. We know this for a fact. Yeah. So you don't have to be in a love relationship to achieve this. You have best friends. You stick around other people who care about you and you care about, right? That will provide the same thing. Nobody needs to be in a love relationship. Nature kind of pushes us there because nature has two designs for us only. That is to continue the species and to not be killed, right? Survival. Mm-hmm. Those are the two. Relationship, we're on our own. Right? Nature doesn't care about relationship. In fact, nature has built in things to make our relationships crash and burn. And if we don't know that, we are going to be subject to those natural forces. Mm-hmm. So I think the thing is to be in a love relationship in our time that is fair and just, that is right. It's a team sport. Yeah. If you are not a team player or do not want to be on a team, you should not do that. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Unless you're with another person who doesn't think teams, and you're both going to be avoidant and you both are going to live your life separately. Don't tread on me, but you're swell and everything, but just don't be too needy. And, I'm a busy person, you're a busy person. They can get along, mm-hmm. right? But they have to look for each other. They can't just pick anyone. Yeah. So So that's not usually what happens. I pick somebody who's not like me and somebody I really need, but then I hate them for that because that which I'm attracted to, I'm also going to be irritated about. That's nature's little joke.
Yeah.
So it's a team sport. It cannot be played effectively as a solo sport for very long because that's too unfair and too unjust and too insensitive. And there will be resentment and threat memory because of it. It can't work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see it there and older friends of mine that are older and divorced, but they're in that dating pool, the older dating pool, and they're choosing terrible relationships for the sake of just not wanting to be alone. And it's like these
Understandable
patterns. Hmm.
because they're trying to pick the right person, and that's a mistake.
Yeah.
We must actually have a really good idea of what our idea of a perfect relationship with person X
Hmm.
should be in order for us to be happy.
Yeah.
And then we look for people who are willing, also want the same thing and prove it because people will say they do, but they won't do it.
Right.
Um, and that's why dating is such a pain because
Yeah.
it takes at least a year, maybe more than that, to find out who we're really dealing with because everyone's trying to get the gig.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. Look for the right person, and you will be deceived.
Yeah.
Look for the right relationship, and then you can start to see who must be ruled out by your observation and all your friends that you ask to look with you, so that you're vetting this person. Hopefully, they're doing that with all of your people, young, old, male, female,
Yeah.
because you want to get a sense because our picker is off when we are infatuated. In the beginning part, we're on endogenous drugs that make us want to procreate. Nature, again, doesn't care. And our judgment is off, right? Our judgment is off. So that's why we have friends and family to back us up because we're not thinking straight.
Yeah. So you say it takes about a year for people to kind of,
Yeah, you don't know somebody for at least a year.
that's interesting.
And even then, it takes 2 or 3 years because you got to live together
Uh-huh.
in order to know what that's like. Because I like
Yeah.
you. Long distance relationships work well because, hey, there's always that space and that fantasy. But I don't know what it's like to be with you day to day.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting because everything's very boom boom in this day and age. That's interesting. That's a good
It's all.
fact.
It used to not happen because family would and the village would pick for us, right?
Yeah.
It still exists in some corners, right?
Yeah.
And studies show that those marriages are just as successful and fail just as much as people who are attracted because of love, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because your village understands your culture and understands what will fit in the culture. Otherwise, they'll get kicked out of, you will too. And so it's recognition. But they have to be stranger enough for you to be even interested in that person.
Yeah.
They're too familiar, that's incest. If they're too strangerish, that's too far away from home. You're too different from my family culture.
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Because people have to get along with the social network that they both belong to. And that isn't happening today. And a lot of people suffer because of this. Because, had they done that, they may have found out early, thumbs down from us.
Yeah.
We don't like the way you look with this person. You're not yourself. And you know what? We kind of pick up something creepy about this person, but we don't want to tell you because we don't want to rain on your parade and you didn't ask.
Yeah. And something that you had mentioned, being similar, but as, people get married, but we also evolve.
Of course.
And get to and we change our political preferences change, our our opinions on, we're just always growing and changing.
Yes.
And so what happens when a married couple, for some couples, and this may be, codependence. But for some couples, it feels like if they're not on the same page, then something is wrong between them. And then there's this, okay, well, we don't agree, but we have to agree. And
It's
and
so
especially
fun.
in this day and age when there's so much division amongst everything that's going on. So how do we still remain individuals and be okay with the fact that we don't agree? We may not even be on the same political spectrum anymore. How do we come in unity in those differences? Because it can divide marriages.
So I'm a neuroscience nerd and neurobiology nerd and a history nerd, right?
Yeah.
It calms me because the world is scary. It
Yeah.
calms me. Um, but the human beings are incredibly brilliant,
Mhm.
and as far as we know, are the only animals on the planet that can do certain things like predict the future based on the past, can imagine things, create things out of whole cloth that don't exist in the physical world, like relationships. We can do all of those things, and yet we are so friggin' stupid. And I'll tell you, I mean, really stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
it's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
We forget we're dealing with a different person, a different whole nervous system, history, genetics, cultural background, meaning family. And yet we expect to be on the same page.
Yeah.
We're never on exactly the same page. We're never, ever, ever exactly. We can't know if we are because I am not in your head.
Yeah.
We only approximate each other. Now, if relationship was predicated on things in common and that we think the same way, we would never unionize with anyone. So, what is the great condition under which we dissolve our differences? We have a shared purpose. Why are we doing this? It can't be love. It can't be emotion. It's got to be something greater than that. We have a shared vision of where we're going. We're making sure that we point in the same direction. We want the same things. Now, how do we get each other on board? Well, now you and I are dating, and oh my God, it's magical. We have the same brain. We finish each other's sentences. That's going to last for a good hot minute. We have the same interests. We all want to do the same things. Again, it's going to last a good hot minute. We're on drugs, dudes, right? It's a fantasy. It's not real. The reality is, no, we're two separate, annoying, irritating, disappointing human primates, period. And we'll always be that way. That's a fact, not a problem. If we are a team, and if we view this properly, it's you and I against the world. We are perfectly imperfect people, pain in the asses, that are coming together and designing this as two difficult people with a design that makes us increasingly less difficult as we learn and go. And we put ideas, big ideas together that ensure we have the same purpose. You and I are going to survive and thrive together. It's you and me, kid, ride or die. It's us against the world. We are the most important people in this and every room because if we aren't happy and we aren't safe and secure, nobody else is okay or nothing else is going to work. That is as true as anything if you really think about it. Happy kids, happy parents, happy kids. Fact. Your health depends on the happiness and the low stress that you are designing and building into the relationship. It does not happen naturally. If you're a human primate, you are an asshole somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? That is a fact, right? No matter what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
So make no mistake, we have to work together in the way we always have, but couples don't think they should have to because it's love, because whatever it is. No, we have to do this the way everyone else has to. You and I must, by agreement, big idea,
Yeah.
never lose. We guarantee that on any gamut, I'm not going to lose, you're not going to lose. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, if we're confined to that, we'll find a way. That means we have to find where we agree and where we are the same.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we do because of energy conservation and because of our nature? We always look to where we're different and where we disagree. Always.
Okay.
Always. Look at social media. That is our nature. That is our nature. What do higher level human beings who think consensus do? They never do that. This country, our country, is fragmenting now because of the problem of no shared purpose and vision, right? It's turning out to be a lie for too many people. So that's why we're tribalizing.
Yes.
How do we begin? How do we even achieve this? 13 colonies that had their own interests, their own economy, were separated. They didn't care about the British, especially if they were deep into the country. Someone comes along and say, we need to band together and go to war with the British. No, and we don't want what you want. We already have what we want. So how was that achieved? It could the only way we could have done that is that there were leaders who knew how to find where we would all agree and where we were the same. All you had to do was think.
Yeah.
All partners have to do is think, but they don't want to. You should want what I want. Where did you get that idea from? Your family? You should think the same thing I do. Where did you get that idea? No one does. We're idiots.
Yeah.
We expect too much. We're entitled. We think when we're in couples, we're family. We are not. Your kids are family. You are strangers, always getting to know each other through life. And always bargaining and negotiating with each other to make whatever you do good and right for both of you, so you do not have to look back and litigate what you could have prevented in the first place.
Yeah.
And yet we don't do that. One more thing, I know I'm talking too much.
No.
We know that the more time you and I spend together, the more we influence each other, which means we're going to move together. We're not likely suddenly to become ultra conservative and ultra liberal. We're not. That does not happen. Suddenly, I'm not going to become a Buddhist without you realizing and coming along with me, right? So people must remember that the more time we're together, and today we're not, the more we're influencing each other and becoming more alike naturally. The less time, we're more influenced by outside forces. And so for those couples who tend to silo and live very separate lives and are playing this as a solo sport, we can predict that relationship through drift is going to end predictably and badly.
Yeah.
We can predict pretty much, I can, anybody who's researching this stuff can really predict a trajectory of a relationship by how it starts and how it's being designed.
Yeah. And when you have two people in a relationship, two dominant thinkers,
No problem.
two chiefs in the
No
household.
problem. And they should be two chiefs. They just have to share power.
Okay. And so how do they, especially in parenting, how do you this is my husband and I, we're very dominant.
It's all of us. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so how do you, like, when, what's the word? How do you, I don't want to say give in. That's not what I'm saying, but how do you come to, in parenting, how do you come to a mutual agreement on how something should be done when you both have your own dominant thought on how it should go? What are some tools and things that you in marriage and family therapy that you give them to come to an agreement without being frustrated and angry at each other?
Personally, I'm of the belief that people can have any relationship they want. They can design any way they want. They just have to agree. That's it. That's the only thing. Secure functioning. You can hang upside down. You can be drug addicts. Who cares? If no one's complaining, you're fine, right? It's your life. But you have to agree and be honest about it. That's just the first thing. Not everybody will agree that the couple should come first. I really believe this. If you want an awesome life, if you want to be a power couple, if you want to be happy throughout, if you want to be strong and be able to be an all weather couple that's going to be able to operate effectively, collaboratively under the greatest load bearing. You must put the couple as the top dog before kids, before everything, right? Because everything depends on the two of you working not as fools, right? You're working well together, right? So that's number one.
Yeah.
It also believe that if you're adults, right away, think about casting each other as shared power, shared authority. In other words, we're two generals, metaphor. We're two executives, we're two bosses, we're two leaders. That's our responsibility. But we have to work together collaboratively and cooperatively by having a shared purpose all the time and a shared goal. So you and I are a couple. We come first. We have to protect this relationship first. Otherwise, everything sucks, right? So that's first, right? Second, we have another purpose here. The purpose here is to be the best parents we can be, right? We agree on that. Everybody does. If you ask them, they just don't put that out there declaratively.
Yeah.
If we think about our vision, we both want probably the same goal. We want, do we want our kids to be happy? Yes. Do we want our kids to be responsible? Yes. Do we want our kids to be resilient and not give up easily? Yes. Do we want them to be good neighbors? We can go down the list. I've yet to come across somebody who says, no, I'd like our kid to be a psychopath. No. Yeah. Right? We're going to want the same things.
Right.
Yet we don't remind each other that. We are two different people. We know through research that the more parenting figures, the better for brain development all along, right? Because I'm being exposed to different difficult people. That exposes me to different relationships that are challenging, which builds out more dendritic connections and axon terminals and creates a bigger network of social emotional intelligence, right? So viva la difference. You and I, our superpower, if we accept it, is our differences. Yet we fight about it.
Yeah.
That's stupid. We are different. And so if we accept them, our kids benefit from our different backgrounds and our different personalities and temperaments, right? And so that's a feature, not a bug. We just have to accept that and work together as two different perspectives, checks and balances. Because the focus isn't what I want, what you want. We're always thinking as we go, because it's a hands-on job, what is the best thing to do right now for this child, given what we want the result to be? That's the purpose, right? We're working on problems, not each other. Yeah. That's with everything, because as soon as I work on you, it's war. And that's what we tend to do.
Yes.
It's a project where we're working together. And it's a moving target, brain development, children, and they're changing, and we have to change our strategy if we see them moving in this direction that's not according to where we want them to go. Therefore, we work together and we try things out. Maybe your way will do. Let's see if it works, but we're monitoring it. As soon as it doesn't work, let's try my way. And then if that doesn't work, we have to recreate something together. Yeah. All right. If we think that way, we're fine.
Yeah. When parenting, I think the thing is, like you just said, if we do it this way, if it doesn't work, we'll monitor it and then we'll shift, if it doesn't work. But I think one of the things that I think
this is harder to do than it sounds.
Yeah. I think for women especially, the thing is, okay, but if it, like my mind goes to, but I need to control it so that it does work, because if it doesn't work, then we've screwed our kid up for the rest of his life.
Well, both parents will feel that way if you have a good father, right? They both feel, they're both afraid.
Yeah, and so I think that's the thing is how to let go of that control, because I think that's where some of the arguments come from is, okay, but if we do it your way and it goes wrong, because I feel like my way is the right way. If we do it your way and it goes
Sorry,
wrong, what if we screw it up?
sorry. Again, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
I don't get to have it all my way. I have to work
Yeah.
with you
Yeah.
in a way that works.
Yeah.
In a way that I can't do something that you're abjectly against because that'll cause a downstream problem for us and the kids.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have to first decide what the rules are. The rules are we cannot do anything without first getting each other on board. Period. I cannot do it through coercion. I cannot bully you. I cannot threaten you. It's got to be attracting you to the table only, because anything else kills the relationship now or very soon, right? Cannot happen, does not work. It's not, again, we have to look at what can't work with human beings.
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I may want to dictate, but that's not the gig. That's not the agreement. That's not how we play this.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to do that, be a single parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine.
We.
That's one. That's one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm a little too caffeinated.
No, it's okay.
But I'm very excited about this because I really believe this, and I've seen it. I really believe it. So I want to help. But if our attitude, if our orientation is correctly, that you're losing your temper and talking loud reminds me of my father, my mother. I will not have that in this house. I will not have my child subjected to what I was subjected. Well, here's the question I ask. Does this rise to a level where I need to make a report to Child Protective Services? Is this a danger, literally a danger to your children, or is it something that your children that you can't regulate the state that is evoked when you hear the sound, right? That's understandable. I'm that way. Everyone's this way, right? You have to really differentiate that because what here is important. You could be the hardest person on the planet to get along with, but I'm your partner. I'm really good at you. I'm really good at you, right? I can manage you. You're the tiger I'm not afraid of, and I can handle you without using a stick or a whip.
Yeah.
Our kids are observing how well I handled you. They know how to handle you by monkey see, monkey do, right? So if I can't handle you, your kids can't. You could be the easiest person in the world, but I don't know how to handle you. Your kids, our kids won't.
Yeah.
We don't understand this. That our children need to know how to deal with a wide swath of personalities, tones, sounds, behavior, right? Otherwise, we're not prepared for the real world. We're not.
Yeah.
And we had just, our mindset is all wrong here.
Yeah.
Only if it rises to the occasion of abuse, and I mean it, because one person's abuse is another person's raised voice. We've got to be sane about this, because that is going to screw our children up more than anything. My fear of you screws everybody up, right? Because I'm incompetent. I shouldn't have picked the animal I picked because I'm incompetent to handle them, and I'm not interested in learning.
Yeah.
Right? This is real.
Yeah. And, I think for women and men, this is just, we're nurture, we're protect. And that's like, but, my husband, as my oldest is getting older, male, a lot of the things my husband is saying in regards to parenting is because he's a male. My husband's a male and understands what our son needs as a male. Whereas I'm nurture, I'm protect, I'm don't do that. And he's like, no, Megan, but as a male, this is what he needs. And it maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
You're there to disagree and make your point and make your case as he is supposed to make his case to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is this, it's very interesting. And in some regards, I do, Daniel's my husband. When it comes to we have two sons. I do actually find myself more and more going, I don't know what to say to this because
I
I,
know.
yeah, because I don't understand this wiring. I don't
Because
understand.
right,
Yeah.
that's
Eh,
that's because now let's be fair here.
Yeah.
We genderize secondary parents as always being male. They're not always males.
Uh-huh.
The same case with two men that are parenting or two women that are parenting, particularly if one, and it would in this case be two women,
Uh-huh.
one of them was the carrier, that one who bore the child, right?
Uh-huh.
Here's how it works, and this is nature, right?
Uh-huh.
People have to understand. The primary caregiver, usually the one who gives birth, the mother,
Uh-huh.
has the thickest relationship and is neurobiologically wired
Uh-huh.
because of all of this biology and hormones to be absolutely fixated on the child's needs and
Uh-huh.
safety. Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And that is a very strong wiring, right? Including being able to be vigilant at night forever after giving birth, right?
Yeah.
Hearing, right? All of that is all part of our wiring. Normal. So that is the case, and we know that the secondary parent is not important to the baby at all. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it can be more important the more hands-on that second parent is, in particular during the pregnancy period. We know that fathers or father figures who are really there during the pregnancy period, they start to have the same symptoms as the caring mother.
Uh-huh.
They're better fathers. And they're more likely to be right there, right from the beginning, and forge a very strong attachment bond to
Yeah.
that infant. Whereas other fathers call me when they can talk and play
Yeah.
baseball,
Yeah.
right? But the same is true for females who are the secondary parents.
Uh-huh.
Oddly enough, they're often at work, often doing other things, and they're more likely to feel jealous of this new arrival because their girlfriend or whatever is now being competed with because of that primary maternal preoccupation of that mother. If they're not prepared, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so I just want people to understand the nature of this, that we're hardwired
Mhm.
mothers, unless they're teenagers, unless there's something wrong with her, unless there's so many pressures and load bearing that they're both under resourced, which is a problem.
Yeah.
All things being equal, that mother is going to be fixated. That's normal and has to be.
Yeah.
The other secondary parent should be there to regulate the mother figure who's regulating the baby,
Yeah.
because the mother needs to be resourced.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Dr. Linda Truitt from Ozark Veterinary Clinic in Ozark. We have been taking care of animals from a Yorkie, cows, cats, with a full-service clinic that offers complete surgical services, hospital, boarding, and now we take care of exotic animals from parakeets, snakes, to even flamingos. Ozark Veterinary has been taking care of pets and farm animals for over 50 years. Stop by our animal care center now, specializing in exotic animals on East Highway 14 in Ozark.
That's how it should actually
You
work.
know what's interesting about regulation, what you mentioned that they talk about the skin to skin, baby and mom,
Skin to skin, face to
regulation.
face, eye to eye.
Yeah, but even for adults,
Yeah.
because I'm pregnant now and
And
my hormones.
congratulations. I didn't want to
Thank
say
you.
anything because I didn't know that was out there.
Yes, no, thank you.
Congratulations.
But my hormones are all over the place.
Of course.
And my husband, what's so interesting about that regulation is, my husband, seriously, I have the gem of a human being, and
I believe that. You're terrific. You should only pick somebody who's this terrific.
yeah, thank you. And I said to him the other day, I said, Daniel, I just need to be held right now because
Yes.
I'm everywhere. And Stan, within like 5 minutes of just having that skin to skin, I was like regulating. And I
Of
was like,
course.
this is so fascinating that it's not just in kids. Like our bodies
No.
really do regulate each other.
You have to co-regulate because parenting is hard. Life is hard.
Yeah.
If the two of you are not resourcing each other whenever needing, then why are you together? What's the point of this?
Yeah.
What's the point of this? Life is hard. You're there to make life easier for both of you. Two are better than one if they work well together.
Yeah.
And so we know that touch is the most efficient and quickest way to disconnect the neuroendocrine stress system, unless there's something else going on, in which case I can't tolerate touch, then eyes are the second best.
Okay. So if somebody can't do touch, like if somebody is like, I cannot, for whatever reason, eye to eye.
Well, if they can't do eye to eye, then touch.
Okay. But looking at each other in the eyes regulates the same way touch does if somebody can't do touch.
It is the second best.
Okay.
For recovery from hyperarousal or bringing up from hypoarousal. When we're talking about the autonomic nervous system, then touch by far is what is the quickest, most efficient. That's why if you are not a hug averse, if you are anxious, if you are afraid to walk into that room, you just sustain and embrace particularly belly to belly pressure, because that's where our guts are. That's where our serotonin receptors are. You will be right as rain if you hold it together and just wait for it. It's medicine.
That's fascinating that you mentioned the gut being that place, just because I was talking to somebody else on another episode, and I just through talking with people in the therapy world, it's very fascinating how much gut keeps coming up.
Because why do we like weighted blankets? Why do we like our children or puppies on our chest and belly? Because of the weight. That's why we go into a fetal position. We're safe there because we're protecting our most vulnerable place, which is our guts.
That's so fascinating. I learning how important the gut is in so many ways, and what you just said about the serotonin receptors.
Yes, most of them are.
Who would have thought? I mean, honestly, if you're not studying it, who would have ever imagined? I wouldn't have. And so it's very fascinating. The more people in the world of mental health I talk to, and how that keeps coming up, and how important it is, but how little it's talked about whenever you're at your doctor and you're having all these issues. Never to
doctors have too much on their plate as it is. Specialists can only know this.
Yeah.
So this is a fact, and all you have to do is do a science experiment. Anybody in your audience, anybody. When you're not feeling happy, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling even angry. Be quiet. Get with your person or anyone who's on board. And sustain it, though. You have to sustain it until you both feel recovered. Not only will that shift you both, your state, into safety, but it also is vital for partners to do whenever reuniting, because of our state of mind alters our perception like a funhouse mirror. If we want to see the same thing, hear the same thing, feel the same way about the environment that we're in, this is essential as a nervous system hack, right? Doing that brings us into parity in terms of our state of mind, and therefore we're more likely to see the house similar. We're more likely to be able to tolerate the sounds. We're more likely to be in alignment there. If only we just did that. It takes a minute, 2 minutes. That's it.
So honestly, that is a hack of, okay.
It is a hack. I have lots of them.
I love that. Like if we're fighting and we can't, then to do that and just come to that's.
If you're fighting, you're not going to do that because nobody will.
Yeah.
What you're going to do if you're fighting is stop. Do not leave the room, because that adds another stressor. Stop and focus on a third object and just shut up.
Okay.
Focusing on a third object is essential so you don't ruminate. You're training your eyes on that object to keep you from practicing what's happening and ginning yourself up. And then you're relaxing your body continuously. It's a meditation. You could also go eye to eye and just, again, shut up. That shutting up is the most important thing. And you stay in each other's eyes and examine all the details that you are noticing in the face and the eyes. You are an examiner of detail. You're occupying your mind with the task while you relax your body. Do that 10 minutes, you guys will come back to parity. Come back to baseline. Not full baseline, because if you talk about it again, you'll go right back, because on a neuroendocrine level, your blood is still saturated with fighting hormones. So your mind is back, but your body isn't. So you do not talk about it again. You change channels and you do another activity completely, because on a nervous system level, it's impossible.
So
People
then
have
when do you,
possible and what isn't.
so then when do you, what is the best time to come back around to talk about it for a solution?
Most problems don't have a solution from the fight. Most problems exist because the subject matter is not the thing. The subject matter is the stressor. It's the manner in that you and I will interact when one or both of us is under stress. That is the problem. That is what repeats. That's what leads to threat, and that's what increases threat memory by repetition. It's always the manner in which you and I will interact when one or both of us is under stress. If we do not know this, if we're not predicting and planning for it and preparing for it, if we're not practicing, if we do not have an agreement that will override an impulse, we're going to do exactly what our subcortical areas of survival are going to dictate over and over again. They're going to win every time, because we're animals. And what is our primary objective in terms of nature? Surviving. If you feel like you're threatening me, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to leave, or I'm going to attack. And then you're going to attack back. This is human nature. Everywhere on the planet. This is a human problem, not a him or a her problem. It isn't.
Yeah.
And if we could understand that, then we are better prepared on how to get along with each other, because that is the single major problem. The manner in which we will interact when either of us is in distress or under stress, that rapidly goes into threat. Rapidly.
And so what can we do? What can we do in, is there like a tool, trick that whenever we start to feel it, what can we do to not engage it?
Okay. This is where it's practice based on ideas. But people have to understand that most everything that happens between us, and I've found this to be absolutely true, isn't personal. It just feels it, right? We're animals, and we have a survival instinct that's always online. It's always scanning. It does not know the difference between a knife and you're rolling your eyes. They can be on par with that threat system. And our reactions can be just as dire. So we have to first be experts at each other. I have to know that to you, my talk is yelling. To another person, it's whispering. It doesn't matter what it is to me or them. It only matters to my interacting with you. Therefore, I have to adjust my manner to you, or get ready for a fight. That's me. That's what I'm doing, right? So that's in each other's care. You are in my care. I am in your care. More efficient than I'm in my own care.
Yeah.
Okay. Much more. We have to know this is going to happen based on what has happened, and predict it for the future, and put something in place that would mitigate this when it starts. That's two, right? We have to be smart and do postmortems like everyone else in medicine or science does. Couples don't, right? Don't let things repeat. If it happened, it's a two-person solution. Let's do something to prevent either of us from doing that again by agreement and permission to enforce. Okay, I'm running through things that are actually take a lot of understanding by doing, and people are not going to get it. The other thing is, when you and I are going to talk about something stressful, we never ever do it on text, ever. That's suicide. We never ever do it on the phone. That's suicide. We're visual animals and we err correct through the visual field. We cannot do it to each other's side because we're going to fight, because fear centers in the brain are firing faster with a face at a glance. We're legally blind on the sides. We only see the world in high definition through the fovea, a pinhole. Therefore, we have to be dead on, face to face, eye to eye, in relatively close distance because of how the visual field is operating in the brain. Mm-hmm. My job is to watch you like a hawk when we're talking about a stressful problem, a problem to be solved, a decision to be made, or an injury that must be repaired now. Stressful. I'm going to watch you like a hawk because I'm looking for any sign that you are tipping into a state of not feeling perfectly safe or secure. And then when I see that, if I know it's good for me, I have to return you to safety first before carrying on. Because as soon as you start to feel unsafe, you don't care about my interests. I cannot influence you. These are facts. Yeah. And therefore, I will walk away with nothing. Fact. You have to do the same with me. And people are not doing anything near that. Why do I have to watch you like a hawk, especially when I talk? Because I have to see my effect on you in this moment. If your face goes south, guess what? I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. I don't care whether you think it shouldn't be that way. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because this is a neurobiological limitation of human primates. It is. Yeah. Just like if your resources go down, I have to stop because you don't have it. Therefore, anything I say is going to start to aggravate you because I'm putting more stress than you have headroom to deal with it. I'm an idiot. I may feel like I just want to say it.
Yeah.
That's a one-person thinking. Mm-hmm. I'm in a two-person system, folks.
Yeah.
Anything I do to you is going to happen to me. Yeah. What I'm saying here are neurobiological facts. I'm not just making this up.
Yeah.
It is real.
Yeah.
And we're not in reality. Yeah. We are limited by nature, and we're limited by our own brains and autonomic nervous systems. If we don't respect that, it's war. And that's why we are better at war than love, period.
That's so fascinating. And it is so, when you, in hindsight, the things you're saying in hindsight, I'm like, oh, wait, I see that. I see that, what I do to you comes, there's
nothing I can do to you that won't happen to me next.
Yeah. But in the moment, you're so dysregulated.
Yes.
So,
that's different than people who are acting this way when they're not.
Yeah. And so what do you do, in the moment? You're noticing the signs in your partner that it's going south, their face, you're watching them, but you're so dysregulated. What is something we can do in the moment to snap us out of it so that we can stop? Because everybody knows what it's like to be dysregulated and you can't shut your mouth.
You and I have to become experts on each other. The problem is that partners don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
No one wants to do anything. Why don't we look at our childhood? Because energy conservation. It dictates literally that we do not do what we don't think is necessary. I stop looking at your face because I've already memorized it. I stop paying attention to you because I have the gig. I think I know you because I automated you. This is dangerous, right? And if we don't know that, we're gonna suffer the consequences. I have to know you inside and out. I have to be a Megan whisperer. Otherwise I get what I pay for. Mm-hmm. Right? I become incompetent. If I'm incompetent, I don't like you. That's my doing. Yeah. How many partners care and think that it's not a luxury, that they have to study their partner and know exactly what to do, what lever to pull when this happens, when that happens. None of them. And that's going to be their downfall. So I have to know how to operate you under those circumstances and know what will bring you back to safety quickly. That's practice. That's trial and error. That's one. You have to know that with me. We have to look at what went wrong and figure out what to do the next time. Not because either of us are the problem, but because if one of us has a problem, we both do, we work the problem. There's always a solution there if we actually think. Right? But we have to predict, plan, and prepare for it, or we'll just do it again.
Yeah.
Everybody will. When we go live meaning, our nervous systems are abuzz, we're going to be more automatic. Therefore, I'm going to do the same stupid thing. Everyone will. Yeah. So this takes predicting it ahead of time. And what will we do? Well, if you are dysregulated and I can think, it's my responsibility to bring you back to safety because I'm it. You can't. If you could, you would. Right? There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I can't expect you to do it when you can't. If I'm out of sorts and you can think and you recognize it, it's your responsibility to pull us both on to track because we're going off the cliff together.
Yeah.
That takes knowing that's true. Mm-hmm. Knowing that is a fact and there is no other alternative. There is nothing else. I may want you to be different, but that's impossible.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is the way it is, folks. Either know it, learn it, practice it, or good luck.
Yeah.
With any human being, I don't care who you're with. Okay, now what if we're both dysregulated? Mm-hmm. That's when we rehearse.
Okay.
So what I tell people, and this analogy works. When we go live, it's the same condition as if you and I are performers. We're Olympians, skaters, whatever. We're great in rehearsal. But if we don't practice for what the conditions will be with a stadium full of people, with judges in our face, with our nerves and that are going to affect our bodies, we will fail. Whether you're actors, whether you're giving a speech, whether you are a comedian, I don't care what it is. If you're not practiced for going live, you're going to find out what that's like.
Yeah.
We're the same. If you and I don't practice for what is going to happen when we have Thanksgiving dinner, predict, plan, and prepare for the worst, we're going to get exactly what we always do. Because when we go live, we will not have those options available. We're going to be automatic.
Yeah.
And that's where we have to do, we can either plan, predict ahead of time, know what we're going to do if this or that happens, rehearse it. If we both get dysregulated, what are we going to do? Yeah. We'll remember if we rehearse.
Yeah.
Which is fun, by the way.
Yeah.
But people think, oh, we don't have time for that. I got to go to work. I got to do this with the kids. We don't have time for it. And if that's going to save their marriage. That's going to save their good time. That's going to make sure that they're happy. That's going to do everything.
Yeah. But I love all of that. And I think really when it all comes down to it, what I just keep hearing over and over is we really have to work on being less about ourselves.
Here's the formula if you want to know, Megan.
Yeah.
Simple, hard to do under stress.
Yeah.
I have to consider your interests, your fears, your wants, including your fears about me based on what I've done. At the same time, I'm pitching my interests, or you will see me as an adversary.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. Every consensus member, everybody who's in the foxhole with someone whose life they depend on to being upright and everything knows this.
Yeah.
Knows it. We don't, and we don't care until it's too late.
Yeah.
All of it's solvable, but you have to work together as a team. You have to expect the worst and plan for it in order to be safe. My wife and I do not go into anything unprepared. We don't go into a party. We don't go into a family discussion. We don't go into a dinner. We don't do any of that stuff. A vacation. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong, especially if you have kids, without being prepared? We do not want to be caught unprepared. Yeah. We even prepare for things that we couldn't think of. We're going to huddle together in a bathroom. We're going to reconfigure. Yeah. We're a team. Yeah. We're not stupid, right? I want everyone to be that way.
Yeah. And, when you're talking about being prepared and rehearsing and coming up with plans and how it's real easy to go, I don't have time for that. But really, when you think about it, I would rather take the time to do that than use the time to be upset with each other for days. I would say it would take less time to do that than it would have you not done that and just be regularly mad.
Let me explain a neurobiological fact that people aren't understanding.
Yeah.
Because our brain tilts towards the negative at birth. Why? For survival. For survival. If you don't say anything, if you don't return my email, I'm going to fill in the blank with the most negative thing based on my own narrative, right? I'm not going to think, oh, you're just busy. No, I'm going to start to think I said something. I'm going to start to think, what's wrong? How come, what's going on, right? That's what our minds do automatically, right? Therefore, we are peaked more towards threat. And our memory favors anything that hurts us, scares us, is unfair, unjust, anything that feels like we were misunderstood. It favors that. And if that isn't repaired quickly, it goes into long-term memory because of adrenaline. That is on the person who did the deed, right? So if I see that you feel hurt or misunderstood, I'm going to relieve you first immediately. I'm going to say, I'm sorry that I did that. That was wrong. I'm going to do that before I do anything else because I do not want it going into long-term memory where I will pay for it forever, because you will remember that forever and it will intrude on the present, right? I don't want that. I don't want to have to litigate things that because I didn't think ahead, I didn't make it right for both of us. I won, you lost. Guess what? I just set myself up to deal with that. It's a gift that's going to keep on giving in the future. I did that because of it, right? If we don't want to litigate the past, and please, folks, understand that repetition of anything that's felt as negative is not your friend. Every time we repeat an injury, there's inflammation in our cells and in that threat system, and I'm now more vigilant. Every time it starts to snowball as a memory, and now I react to almost anything you do because I know you're doing it, and I shoot first, ask questions later. Why? Because it was rehearsed. Why? Because I allowed it to repeat. We allowed it to repeat. I see so many couples that come in 30 years later. They did business poorly, which is understandable, but they did it. And now they have a tremendous problem here because they have a hard time going forward, all of us will, without the past intruding on the present and the future. We cannot correct the past into the future because my brain will automatically stop me and say, don't trust her. She'll never do it. Don't trust him. He'll never do it. It happens time and again. And therefore, they're almost at the point where they won't be able to do it. They've built up too much threat memory and it's made it impossible. This is Israel and Gaza. This is anything that's repeated. They're in a loop they can't get out of. And that's because they did that. They may not have known, but your audience should know it's a two-person solution. Never let anything that's negative that happens to either of you repeat again. Otherwise, it's going to lead to a cascade that leads to divorce.
That's so interesting. And it honestly, so much makes sense. And as you're saying that, I'm like, ooh, there's things I need to work on.
Y'all do. We all do. I mean, knowledge is power, right?
Yeah. This is fascinating. And Stan, I wish I had all day with you because everything you're saying, I just love it. I love hearing about the brain. I love hearing about all that stuff. But guys, if you're like me and you just eat this stuff up and you love to learn about this, Wired for Love is the second edition. But he also has, so many other books also on children, not just marriage. So just Google Stan Tatkin and his books will pull up for you. And I also, before we end out, I want to mention that he has a new on-demand video course.
Oh, yes. Thank you for remembering that. I didn't.
Yes. And the new on-demand video course with Tracy, is it Boldman?
Tracy Boldman, the love of my life, my partner, my left hand, my right hand.
Yes, Boldman. Okay, I want to make sure I said it right. Well, it's called The Win-Win Couple, and it teaches 7 simple brain-based exercises. That's the stuff I eat up. I love stuff like that. To help you and your partner handle conflict more effectively and feel closer in the process. And the course is designed for couples who want to argue less, reconnect more quickly, and strengthen their bond with each other. Stan, where can they find that course?
You can find me. You can find the couple workshops that Tracy and I do in our retreats, 5-star retreats, one that's happening at the end of the year. There, and if you're a mental health professional, this started off with me training therapists and physicians. The PACT, PACT, institute.com, thepactinstitute.com. You can find everything there. We're redesigning the website to make it a little easier to navigate. So pardon our mess, but that's where you find everything.
Perfect. Stan, thank you so much for coming on and taking time out of your day to give us so much information to go off of. Knowledge really is power. And you just have so much great stuff. So guys, go get this book and dive deeper. This conversation doesn't even hit the book all the way. So go get it. And I hope you all are encouraged and feel empowered to step into your marriage.
And if you do secure functioning, it's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah. Yep. Stan, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.